All right, so how did I actually save up money to take off work for 3 months and go without a paycheck? Welcome to First Gen Money, a YouTube channel for all things money and lifestyle from a first gen millennial's perspective. I have recorded this video twice already, so this is my third time recording it, and I hope this is it. I don't know why I've kept re-recording it. I just feel like, how does this process of being able to take a sabbatical wasn't just a 3-month process, right? Like, being financially okay to do this has been a 5-year journey. And so I think that's the biggest reason why I feel like the other 2 videos just didn't do the whole money journey story justice. Backtrack. If you're not aware or you haven't seen the other videos, I have taken 2 months, but it's going on to 3 at this point, 3 months of a break from full-time work. I was trying to understand what I wanted to do next in my career, if I wanted to change industries, what that looked like, and really just needed some time to recover from burnout because that was very real. And that was something that I was dealing, not just because of my full-time job, but because of the responsibilities of running First Gen Money and just being a productive human in this world. I thought it would be helpful to kind of walk you through how I got here, how I got to be able to take a couple months without paychecks. How does one do this? And the other times I filmed this video, I really just talked about the steps I took to be able to take a sabbatical. But in reality, the steps that I took to get here were years in the making. So let me first just share a stat that I found super interesting and was the reality for me early in my money journey. In a Business Insider article, they mentioned that 60% of millennials who make over 100K are living paycheck to paycheck. And so as a millennial who was not making 100K, decide to take 2 months off without paychecks. Like, how does that happen? And very much so the case for me living paycheck to paycheck when I first started my money journey in 2017. And so that was like the biggest entry point into me discovering personal finance and money content. I've talked more about kind of my net worth through the years in previous videos. I will link them all up here. But I think it is very important to kind of mention the big money milestones I took to be able to get to a place where 2 months without income is okay. And that's not to say that there's not work to be done, right? Like, there's still obviously a lot of things I need to tackle with my mindset when it comes to this, but at least the financial steps have been taken care of. And so the first one, obviously for me, my money story and my money journey really started because I wanted to pay off my debt. And so I started with 30 something K in student loans, and I knew my goal was to pay that off. And so I have no debt, and I made it a priority to pay off my debt. Now, I'm not saying you need to not have debt in order to take a sabbatical. That's not what I'm saying. But I will say that the high interest debt, if you have it, is something you want to tackle first and foremost, because that is your most expensive debt. So the first thing that I tackled was getting rid of my debt. And if you have debt right now, check your interest rates. Understand how much you're paying for that debt. The second thing that I had been doing years before taking the sabbatical was investing. I started investing in 2017, and having money invested for retirement, even though it's nothing like I'm not Coast-Fi or anything like that, I still felt like, okay, I have some money invested that will grow for me when I'm not working, even if I can't continue to invest for these 2 months. And I haven't. I haven't been contributing to my Roth IRA. I haven't been contributing to a 401k because I don't have one. And so I was okay taking that little pause because I had put in some work ahead of that. You know, I had been investing, and my money was going to stay in the market whether or not I was adding anything to it. I would say number 3 is having a low cost of living. And I have the privilege of not having a huge rent payment or a mortgage or just any large expenses in those like big 3, right? So the big 3: housing, transportation, and food. In terms of housing, we live in Ari's mom's house and we pay basically nothing for rent. And so that's helped us be able to save, but also be able to take these breaks if we need them. If I had to pay my rent, which would be like $1,400 when we move out for my portion, then that would have taken me a few more months to save for these 2 months, 3 months, and it just would be a different like mathematical equation. If you are thinking about making a change in industry that might mean a decrease for now in your income, or you're trying to take a break off of work full time for 2 months or whatever it is till you find something better, then see how you can minimize those bigger expenses. Cutting your expenses with like $3 lattes isn't gonna make the biggest difference. What's gonna make the biggest difference is those $1,400 expenses. Like, what is that for you? And of course, not everybody is gonna be able to do this, but if you can't, you're just gonna have to include that in your budget. And that might mean it takes a bit longer to get there. You can still get there. So it's possible, it's just gonna take you a bit longer. Number 4 of what helped me get ready to make this transition was leaving that paycheck to paycheck cycle. How do you break that cycle? I was tracking my expenses. I've been tracking them since 2017, just because I need and like to understand where my money is going. Tracking my expenses gave me clarity into what some trends were in my spending, why I was like spending based on emotions, how to maybe protect myself from spending that way in the future. And it just helped me understand my habits better. And I think like tracking my expenses, because I never like strictly budgeted, tracking my expenses helped me understand that like the best way for me to quote unquote budget was not to like break everything into this is the amount that I want to spend for food, this is the amount I want to spend for, but instead saying like, here is how much I'm going to make this month. And here is what I want to save and what I need to pay for. So initially, you know, that was a rent payment when I had that, or my student loan bill when I had that, or my Roth IRA when I was investing in a Roth IRA. And so all of the things that I wanted to take care of and save for were accounted for before I went into any spending, right? And so making it hard for yourself to spend that money, making it harder for you to say, okay, this money is for fun, and making it so that as soon as that direct deposit hits, it doesn't hit straight into your one checking account. It hits into maybe a savings account in a different bank, maybe 2 different checking accounts, one checking account for your bills and one for your expenses and one for your fun things. And so that helped me understand what I actually could spend without feeling bad for wanting to spend it all on clothes or whatever it be, because I already took care of the things I needed to take care of. Really understanding like, what is that gap for you? What is that gap of what you make and the things that you want to take care of leave you with? So those were some of the things that I did over the years to prepare to kind of be okay to take a 2-month, 3-month break. I don't think that it needs to take you 5 years in your money journey to do this. Obviously not, because if you're in a toxic work environment or whatever your situation is and you feel like, okay, I need to just like stop this right now, or I'm gonna be really unhappy, whatever the case may be, it's gonna look different for you, right? It's gonna be less about, okay, how do I get there in 3 years? But like, how do I get there in 3 months? And so in my 3 months, because my last day was middle of November, but I had been thinking like, okay, this needs to happen before a year from now, because initially my goal was August 2022 is gonna be the day that I'm ready to take this year-long sabbatical. When I got to Mexico, it was different. It was like, I need to take this sabbatical like soon because I am just doing and trying to do too much. And so when I realized that, I was like, how do I do this soon? And so I had to stop investing as much as I was in my 401k. I was trying to max it out for 2021, but I didn't reach that goal because I said, pivot, time to pivot. And so it went from $812 a paycheck to $400 a paycheck to $200 a paycheck to finally my last paycheck, $0 going towards my 401k. I directed all those funds into a savings account that was just for this sabbatical, right? So I labeled it, I said sabbatical, 2 months off. And everything that should have been going into 401k went into that high yield savings account instead. First action I took. Second thing that I did was make sure that I knew what I needed every month. So like, what were those upcoming like bills, trips I wanted to take, like what was that gonna cost? What's that number? And so added all that together to understand, okay, this is what I need to have in the bank account to be good for X amount of months. I initially had put move out fund as something that I wanted to save for when I took this time off so I could come back from the time off and already have like what I needed to move out. It was gonna take me longer to reach that move out fund. So I said, you know what? Not a priority. Not a priority if I can't move out immediately after taking this break. It's gonna have to wait. So you have to like prioritize different goals that you might have. At the end of the day, yes, this took years of being in this place where I've gotten comfortable with my spending. I've gotten comfortable like managing my money. I've gotten comfortable investing. I've built some kind of net worth at this point that makes me say, okay, I can take 2 months off. But something that I've realized in these 2 months is I still have a lot of work to do on my mindset. I still have a lot of work to do on believing that the opportunities are out there and they're coming to me. There are moments when I'm like, oh my God, was it a good idea that I did this? Like I could have already like had enough money to like move out and all that stuff that I have to just say, stop. You did not make an irrational decision. You did not make a decision without thinking it through, because I did think it through, and you are okay. You are okay. You need to chill. And so I have to remind myself when these thoughts come up, stop. And remember that you're in control of these thoughts, right? Like, something that I found has helped me is actually making like abundance quotes that I read and see every morning when I'm working at my desk. And so this one says, I am abundant, because I need to remind myself that the opportunities are endless and they're gonna come to me. And so the other one that I really like is, okay, this one. What I want is already mine or is on its way to me. And so reminding myself that there is abundance in the world, that I will receive what I want, and that what is meant for me is gonna come my way has been really helpful in just getting away from these negative thoughts of like, oh my God, did I make the right decision? So just wanna throw that out there because I think a lot of people don't remember how tied money is to your emotions. And when you don't have that consistent paycheck, it comes in full effect. So it's something I'm still practicing. It's something I'm still trying to improve on. Here it is, 3rd time's the charm. Hopefully I keep this video, and if you are seeing it, then I did. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found something helpful. If you did, share it with a friend, like this YouTube video, and subscribe. That's how you support small YouTube creators here on the platform. Thank you so much. I will see you next week.